What unsolved mystery would you like to be explained in your lifetime? What happened to my friend Daniel? He went missing during our freshman year of college, over winter break. He was back home in California. He left his keys at home and walked away. He's never been seen since. I know he's probably dead, but a little part of me has always wondered if someone took him, or if something happened and he's alive. And I can't give up that hope until I know he's not alive. Because what if he is and no one believes anymore? Are you really alive if no one believes you are? As kid I was on some giant, paid, playground made out of cubes with various activities connected together, in 3D. I panicked because I got in some sort of loop with literally no way out. No matter what way I picked I kept coming back to same spot. Firefighters were called. Actually, I wanna know what the hell happened. Malaysia airline flight missing. I'd love it if someone found Forrest Fenn's treasure. To explain, Forrest Fenn was a gentleman with some serious cash. He ended up having a cancer scare and being told he was terminal. So he buried some of his bonds, gold etc. in a cache and wrote a poem with clues on how to find it. Just like old-timey pirates or what have you. He ended up surviving the cancer and doesn't really give any hints on the treasure, except to say that he goes out like once every few years to make sure it's still buried in the same spot, and it always is. That's how he knows nobody has found it yet. The escape from Alcatraz. I think they made it. Supposedly flowers were sent to their mother every Mother's Day after they escaped. 2 tall women were seen at their mom's funeral and other hints suggest they are alive. I need to know what actually happened. Are we alone in the universe? I 100% believe in intelligent life. Would be nice to see it confirmed. Doesn't even have to be intelligent. Just proof of life. All the who, what, where, when, why and howry, Epstein's murder and who all the pedos are. Why do meteors always land in craters? There's a few murderers and disappearances I'm curious about, but they've been brought up already. So I'll say, the Voynich Manuscript. The materials used have been proven to be from the correct time period, but it's written in a still completely unknown language, and has yet to be even partly decoded, I guess. Chances are, it's medieval medical astronomical book. Also the Tamim Shud case. Unknown body found on an Australian beach. No sign of foul play or drowning, and had a strange coded message in his pocket. The body was found in 1948. He's never been identified. If I remember correctly, the labels had been removed from his clothes, and he didn't seem to be from the area. The John Bennett Ramsey murder. The M Cave mystery. I remember hearing about this one and it still bothers me to this day. Basically some guy who was an avid hiker went back to Vista Cave that he said was vibrating on his previous visit. He never came back from the trip and hasn't been seen since. Here's the link to a YouTube video he made talking about the cave not long before he went missing. The cure for Alzheimer's. Preferably before I turn 40. I have a classmate from high school who has an older sister that has been missing for 10 or 11 years now. I would like for this case to be solved so her family has some closure. Dark Matter. WTF was it cancelled? It was so good. Just kidding. I want to know WTF Dark Matter is. The purpose of the Night King. When I was little I wandered off from my parents at a storytelling festival. When I turned back up I had some type of mild wound on my hand and all I would say about it was baby cow bit me down there while pointing toward the nearby river. To this day we have no idea what bit me. We lived in Florida at the time so it could have been pretty much anything. Except for a cow since there were no farms nearby. DB Cooper or Jack the Ripper. IDK if they have been. As someone from Chicago who loves our unresolved mysteries I would love to find out who was behind Thea Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion. It's been over 30 years and we still have no idea who was behind that incredibly bizarre hijack. There was a thread, acute a while ago of someone that thought they had figured it out. That seemed very possible, but it was updated and they were ruled out as suspects. Here is the infamous video, for those that have never seen it. I'd like to know what lies beyond a black hole after entering the event horizon. What lies in there? Nobody knows. I'd like to know. What truly happens after death? What happens to our consciousness? Is there nothingness? Just as there was before we were born? Or do we actually go to some other place? Where were humans before ancient Sumer Mesopotamia? Or, what happened to the people of Roanoke Island? Or, for God's sake, what happened to Amelia Earhart? UFOs. Definitive proof of what people are seeing or aren't seeing. The assassinations of JFK and RFK. Where TF do all of those missing socks go? The murder of Jenny Lo Chang at San Francisco State University in 1977. She was found naked and stabbed to death in a locked reading room of the J. Paul Leonard Library that only school staff and faculty had access to. Many speculate that it was the Zodiac Killer because of the similar circumstances around the murder, but to this day has not been solved. I'm currently a cinema student at SFSU doing a video project about the whole thing, and I'd love to see if anything can be uncovered using new DNA tools. The Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion of the 22nd of November, 1987. Where my girl wants to eat. The Zodiac Killer. I watch a lot of BuzzFeed Unsolved, and I'd love to see that be solved by them in my lifetime. Kyron Horman went missing when I was in 5th grade. He was in 2nd grade. He went to a different elementary school than me, but everyone in the Portland area knew about him, and still will if you mention his name. There were signs everywhere for him, and you occasionally still see them around. He'd be 17 now. It's largely believed his stepmother had something to do with his disappearance, but there's been no evidence to suggest what happened to him. Portland remembers him, and we want to know where he is. What the deal was with all those people dressing up as clowns a couple of years ago? Who Jack the Ripper was? Who the Zodiac Killer was is, because theoretically, they could still be alive. And what happened to John Bennett Ramsey? The existence of aliens. I want some rock solid proof that they're real, not some conspiracy theorists telling me they exist. The disappearance of Brian Shaffer. Guy goes into a bar. He doesn't come out. I would like the mystery of the Voynich Manuscript to be solved. For those uninitiated, it is a manuscript dated to early 15th century, written in an unknown language and containing illustrations of alien plants. It also shows no connection to any other texts or languages, but the text and drawings are so detailed that people doubt it was the work of some random guy. Obviously, some people think it was done by aliens, but it's really interesting. Where do guitar picks go when you drop them? What happened at Dalat Love Pass? In 2015, one of my brother's good friends went to the Grand Canyon to be a river guide. I remember him calling my dad to find a way around some closed roads to get to Colorado since my dad works the state. He was so excited for that summer job, and would talk about it constantly at pickup soccer games. Fast forward not even a week, and my brother is contacted by authorities saying he has gone missing and wondered if he had a reason to disappear. What's scarier is he was with a group of people, had his life jacket on, and just disappeared completely in the matter of seconds. There has been no new leads or any body or belongings found. I really feel for the family, and I hope they can get closure soon. This story keeps me awake some nights hoping that something new will come around. It really put a strain on our small community as he was a very likable guy, and especially the fact he was someone's son in a strong family. Why is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan not just part of Wisconsin? I want to know how the universe works and if we are all living inside of a simulation. The Fermi paradox. Given that the universe is so old and massive, and life's proclivity to adapt and spread, why do we not see unambiguous evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence? Are we actually first in our surrounding area? If so, why didn't a technological civilization develop a billion years ago? I would love to know what happened to Amanda Jones. She went missing while she was late in her pregnancy, in Missouri. D.B. Cooper. I worked with a woman who was absolutely certain, and not kidding at all, that a family member of hers was D.B. Cooper, and I really want to know if she way right. Pretty much any missing persons case, just to the families and loved ones can have some closure and acceptance. What really happened to William Tell, for those who haven't heard of him? The Taos Hum. What the heck is that thing? What the heck is a Black Knight satellite and why is its orbit so weird? What is written on the Voynich Manuscript and is it legit or just a trick? What does the tomb of the first emperor of China look like inside? Where is Cleopatra buried? What happened to the Iron Maiden? The history of the currently underwater ruin off the coast of Florida. I could go on. Where is Lars Mittank? What happened to him? His mother deserves to know. A lot of people are talking about space and time, obviously. Would love to know more as well. But there are so many mysteries still surrounding our oceans and the deepest points. Life that is almost considered alien. I want that to be uncovered, but I guess the mystery is part of how interesting it is. What happened to William Tyrrell? We talked in Latin class about this chamber door found in Pompeii that could lead to a massive library, and how archaeologists couldn't open the door right now because they had no funds, and now everyone in class is going ape because we want to know what's behind the ducking door. I honestly want to donate all of my Christmas money to this. The Delphi Murders. Especially because the victims, Abigail Williams and Liberty German, caught their suspected killer on camera, both visually and audibly. To have the intelligence and bravery to catch your killer on camera during what must have been an incredibly tense and terrifying situation shows amazing courage. I really want it to have meant something. Two main ones. Roanoke Colony and What the Duck Happened. Who, what the duck are sea peoples, and why did a whole bunch of major bad civilizations just collapse because some dudes walked out of the sea? I know they're probably super improbable by this point, but maybe there's a chance. I'd like to know what was going through Diane Schuller's head when she got wasted and high with her 2 kids and 3 nieces in the car, eventually heading the wrong way down the Titanic and killing everyone but her son. I assume Summit went down in her marriage, which is why her husband got so cagey and desperate. But it's pretty grim to kill a bunch of kids, including your own, over that. What in the hell has been going on with Britney Spears from the moment she began dating Justin Timberlake until now? I was just reading an NPR article about 2,000 pounds balls being found in eastern Oregon ranch land completely drained of blood and missing organs. No gunshot wounds. No blood on the ground around them. They look deflated. It's crazy. Also happened 2 years prior to this. Similar type of deal. How? Everyone says aliens, obviously. But I just don't see how someone could do it that cleanly. Where the duck Amelia Earhart is. There's new evidence that she may have been in contact through a radio for up to 2 weeks after she crashed. Whoever was on the other end didn't think it was credible. They basically left her there to die. I just wanna know who killed Teresa Halbach. What happened to Asher Degree? I want to know who the real Zodiac killer was, not the imposters that came some 25 years later post String of Murders, the original. So, after the UFOs were confirmed by the Navy recently and reported on CNN, I had a flashback to a conversation with a Navy captain from Richmond, Virginia I'd had a year prior. During a long flight, the officer abruptly asked me, "Do you believe in aliens?" It was a deviation from the conversation we were having and struck me as really odd. When I asked this officer what else he knew, he wouldn't say anything more. When CNN broke the story in 9/2019 that the US Navy confirmed the UFOs, along with the verified descriptions of the objects, I'd sincerely like to know what the hell they are. From all the accounts, the description is uniform. 40 feet oblong tic-tac shaped objects that defy modern aeronautics. My personal mystery? My DNA shows that my 6th great grandparent is from Senegal or Gambia. I've got a pretty diverse genetic makeup, European and Native American, but this one vexes me. This person was likely born between 1710 and 1800, which perhaps links my distant heritage to an African slave. I'd love to know more, but I have no idea how to track that info. I want to know everything that Tesla invented. When he died, the FBI or something broke into his house and took all of his stuff. And only recently did they declassify some documents. But the documents have lots of stuff blacked out. I know he probably didn't invent anything super interesting by today's standard, and the authorities wouldn't be hiding much. But I still desperately want to know what consciousness is and how it works. Who really was the ass crack bandit? What happened to Asher Degree? The whole situation is so sad and odd. Why did they build the Stonehenge? My older brother went missing almost 5 years ago. I'm almost certain he's dead. I'd like to know what happened. where he ended up. It's the not knowing, you know? There was a Polaroid found in a parking lot. The picture was of a young boy and a teenage girl, hands and feet tied, and a gag around their mouths, in the back of a van. The person that found the picture said that there was a van parked there earlier. Nobody can identify the people in the picture. I believe some thought that the boy was a certain missing child, but was later disproven. Not sure about that, but I don't believe they were ever found, or if the people were even ID'd. Found this article about it. One family believes that the girl is Tara Calico, but it's not conclusive if it is her. Another family thought that the boy was theirs, who went missing during a hunting trip. However, his remains were later found and he had died of exposure, likely got lost. This picture was from 1988, and we still don't have answers. Surprised no one has said this, but the Mothman in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. I've always been fascinated by this. An obscure one, but the 1987 murders of Don Henry and Kevin Ives. What's beyond the edge of the universe? I've spent so many nights laying awake for hours just thinking about it. Serious answer. How the duck did Tommy Wiseau get enough money to fund his movie The Room? Zodiac Killer and the girl that was in that water tank. The disappearance of Madeleine Mccann. After watching the documentary of her on Netflix, it still surprises me that even after they did so many thorough searches and pointed out so many potential suspects, no one was found to have any link to her disappearance. If anything, I would like to see the resolution to this case. What happens to the past, besides being eaten by Stephen King creatures? Cancer. Why can't we figure out why and how to stop ourselves from becoming cancerous? Not a single mystery, but I like to know how many killers I've come in contact with. Who exactly killed John Bennett Ramsey? I've heard conspiracy theories that say it was her brother, but I want truth, not a conspiracy theory. There's a kind of hole right next to Barton Creek Pool in Austin, TX, on the other side of the dam. It's connected to the creek that leads to the lake. One day, I nearly drowned because right in front of me was a huge fish the size of me that looked like a barracuda with huge teeth. The sight of it scared me so much I inhaled water. I wanna know, WTF was that, and why did no one else see it, and why hasn't the news reported barracudas or tigerfish or whatever is our lakes? Who pulled off the greatest prank of all time? Disappearance of Maura Murray. I know it's technically considered solved by the West Memphis Police Department, but I really want to know who really murdered Stevie Branch, Christopher Byers and Michael Moore in West Memphis, Arkansas on the 5th of May, 1993. I guess it's not a huge deal or anything known, but it sure has hugged the hell out of me for a few years. So I was at college and decided to go for a little burn run before one of my exams. I lived in the dorms so I couldn't smoke there. I studied all semester and am usually high while studying, so I wanted to toke up a bit before the exam. I had an hour left until the start of the exam, so a buddy of mine decided we would go on our normal road, but turn around after 15 minutes, making it a 30-minute round trip with plenty of time to get to class and prepare. I drove my old Camry straight on the same road for 15 minutes, found a good place to turn around, and made a complete 360 back the direction I came. But as I keep driving I realize nothing looks familiar, and my buddy says the same. We pull over and open up our phone's GPS and somehow we're an hour away from our school. Some sort of wormhole took us an hour away in 15 minutes. I was late to my test, but luckily my professor let me take it. My friend and I still have no idea how that happened, and no one tends to really believe us.